Oh, sorry about that, guys. I didn't know I was on the air. So, my point being to you is in this day and age, parents need to understand you've got to spend time with your children. Forget all the buying them stuff. They like that, but they love time. Let me ask you this. Now, how many of you all are from I know, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was on the air. I need to wash my mouth out. But anyway, but how many of you all listen? Do you remember from y'all from Detroit? Okay. Do y'all remember when y'all was from Detroit? And we'd be at the down at Belle Isle on the giant slide, barbecuing, listening to music. It didn't cost a lot. It cost time. That meant that somebody had to think enough of you and your friends to put y'all in the back seat of a car and take you to Belle Isle and fire up a grill. Y'all remember them little grills that you used to put in the back seat? Fire up the grill. You had your bathing suit on and your shorts on. You went down a giant slide and then you went and got wet. It didn't cost nothing. And that was it. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We too busy. And so as a result, children get on the internet, they get on the phone, and before you know it, they will be talking to anybody. You can be on the internet right now, and I can meet some man from any kind of place. Now follow along. I'm an old girl, and I getting hit up in my DMs. Say I was young, beautiful, and fabulous. I might be meeting any kind of man. They putting blowing smoke up me, making me believe this and that. You know what I'm saying? That they gonna be my savior, and then this and that and this and that. Before you know it, I'm looking at them for love and guidance. Why? Because my family is missing. I had a lady on here and I loved it. You know what she said? She said, I think it was Michelle Manta. So I live in northern Vermont. I have weekend cookouts and we play cornhole. Said, listen, when we eat dinner, we eat as a family. Ain't no that you gonna eat in your room. We sit down and eat as a family. And we don't have TV on. Oh, that's corny. But you're instilling values in your children. But when the mama's so busy working and the daddy's so busy working, who's raising these children? The TV, the internet, some older man who acts like he's interested in your younger daughter. And before you know it, you say, oh my God, what happened? You know what happened. You were missing in action. You were not there. You were not engaged mentally. You were there physically. Yes, you were home, but you were not engaged mentally. And that is why people think, well, I wanted my children, to live in a middle class neighborhood. Listen, let them live in a shack. Mama need to stay home and raise them children, and a daddy need to go to work. You don't need to have both parents working. I regret that. I felt that, oh, that's what you do. I'm too tired to parent. My ex-husband was too tired to parent. As a result, my children had everything, but there wasn't anyone actively parenting. A mother should be able to pick up her children from school. They should be able to take them to extracurricular activities. It's too much to work 40 hours a day, then come home, do homework with your kids, cook them dinner. You're not Wonder Woman. We got away from that. No, because I got to have my money. I got to have my Chanel. I got to have this. And our kids out here doing everything, dying from fentanyl, because we're not raising them. We physically there, but we tired. And so when you have children, it needs to be an effort to say, listen, you're going to stay home with these babies with your law degree and all, but you're going to raise my children. And we're going to do this. We're going to take them to the church, to the synagogue, to the mosque. We're going on the weekend, we're going to do stuff as a family. We're going to commit to raising positive children. I never saw those kids in my courtroom. But I saw the children that came from middle class and sometimes upper class backgrounds, but the parents were missing. They weren't actively parenting. Then when a kid get in trouble on drugs, oh my God, we got to send them to therapy. We got to do this. Huh? Do children make mistakes? Absolutely. But if you train your child, okay, train them. They're not going to want to smoke dope. They ain't going to want to pass out. They ain't going to want to take your drugs and take them to the school. I mean, they've been having Lazarus parties in upper middle class neighborhoods forever. What's a Lazarus party? It's when every child brings their parents drugs or their drugs and they put them in a bowl and they take them. And then somebody has Narcan. And if you OD almost to death, they bring you back to life. It's called a Lazarus party. And they've been doing that. And children are dying every day, but nobody is telling because we don't want people to know. And what are they doing? You know, they're getting the anxiety medicine, the Xanax and all of that from the mamas and the daddies, and they putting it in a bowl and they taking it. It's more people, upper middle class, affluent people, children dying from overdose than it is people that's poor many times, if you look at it statistically. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. No, you had your child in the best school. You lived in the best neighborhood, but you were not available to your child because you were too tired to be a parent. I know I was. I know I was. I know that if I could have rewound the time, I would have been a stay-at-home mom because you don't have the stress that you do when you coming off of work. Then you got trying to pick up the kids, do homework, cook. You ain't Wonder Woman. And we're expecting too much. And you'll hear parents say, well, when my children get to be 6 or 7, I'm going to go back to work. But until that time, you don't see them in the court system. And Teresa Canaforia says, you're right, I'm a recovery specialist. And then when they look to, get relief in drugs, in alcohol, and then when we find out, we're like, oh my God, not my child. But what did you expect? You were not there emotionally. You weren't there. You were checked out. And we got to take this parenting thing more seriously. It ain't just about, being able to make a baby. I see these parents, they got all of the things they want you to buy on their list. They got to have Gucci slippers. They want Dior bibs. They want all of this stuff. Baby, let me tell you something. That's not what makes a child very well-rounded. What makes a child well-rounded is spending quality time with them. And letting them know that when they leave school, you picking them up, you spending time with them, you're going hiking with them, you're going swimming. But we so caught up in making the money that we forget about that. You understand what I'm saying? Michelle Manta, my friend's son, he was 16. He keeps running away. Second night in a row, he took off, found him in time, riding bikes with kids that has a mentality of a 9-year-old. He went from one home to another. When he was 5, his dad took him away from his mom and sexually molested him. When he was 10, he left the living room and started throwing knives at the mother and brother. Then he went to a group home, which did nothing to help him. Wow, that's really serious. And we got to take this pain. And some people don't need to be parents. You need to be like an auntie or friend or something. You don't need no kids. Maybe you too selfish. You don't need no kids. You do not need children. Children are a responsibility. And let me tell you something. For those of us that got it right, let me tell you something. It wasn't none because somebody was praying. Because let me tell you something. To this day, I still was like, wow, I can't believe it. They kind of well balanced. But it's, it was a shot in the dark. I would like to say that I did the best that I could, but my priorities were mixed up. Oh, I want them to have, to live in a mansion. I want them to ride in the Mercedes. I want them to have money. It was misplaced. Children spell love Tine, not Things. So then, like the last caller say, you do all of this stuff for your kids, then you build an expectation. If you buying Balenciaga gym shoes for your 15-year-old, what's left to do? How they gonna continue that lifestyle when they not with you? By any means necessary. And that's where you see all these young girls stripping, tricking, doing everything else that they got to feed their habit, their clothing habit. They might not be on drugs, but they got a clothing habit, and it started with you because you wanted your child to show up in the best and the finest things, and so that you can say, "Oh, that's sharp. You got that for your child," while you busting your butt and not being at home raising your child. Okay, we'll be back. No cussing.